Hello there, Ray here, and today I will be showing my 1.9 AFK Obsidian farm that uses my new Ender Crystal Wither Cage. Last week I showed how to get Ender Crystals that are invincible to damage and survival. This new Wither Cage uses the invulnerable Ender Crystals along with some other new features. The way that this Wither Cage works is that the Wither is held in place. The way he is held in place horizontally is by these cobble walls down below, which surround the Wither. And these cobble walls are 1.5 meters collision-wise, so that the Wither is unable to just walk forward through them. Yet the cobble wall is underneath the Wither, so that when he does his block breaking ability, he is unable to break the actual cobble wall. To prevent the Wither from just flying upward, there is a boat on top of the Wither's head. And this boat is actually holding the Wither down, but what's holding the boat down is this mob head, because in 1.9 a Wither can actually lift the boat up, and during its explosion it can actually launch the boat straight up into the air and escape. So the boat's holding the Wither down low enough so that the Wither is unable to go up the 0.5 meters and to clear this cobble wall. So what's holding down the boat is this mob head, and I've shown a lot of different block types in a previous video where you can use different block types to hold down entities, and using a mob head is one of the best block types to hold down this boat. And the boat is compensating since the Wither is only 3.5 meters tall and the distance between the bottom and the top is 4 meters tall, so this boat is filling in the rest of the gaps here. Now that the Wither is held in place and cannot move, the next thing that we need to address is the Wither's ability to shoot off blue and black Wither skulls. Found a way to keep the main head occupied. This is by having a target that is just in range of the Wither to see it, but it's too far for the Wither to shoot at it. So here, 38 meters away from the Wither, we have an endermite, and its named with name tag so that he cannot despawn. And this endermite is just far enough so that the Wither is unable to shoot it, but just close enough so that the Wither can see it. So he's attempting to fly upward and flying forward trying to get to that. So if I would remove this boat, he would just fly up and take off towards it and kill that endermite. With the main head occupied, all we have to deal with is now the side heads, which can shoot off blue Wither skulls if they do not have a target of their own. So these two side heads, I gave them a target by giving them an endermite that is lower and off to the side. So this endermite is not first seen by the main head right away, so that afterwards the side heads will notice this endermite here and they'll start trying to shoot at it. Now that the side heads are trying to shoot at a target, they will be shooting black Wither skulls. Now to prevent the black Wither skulls from traveling and killing the endermite or doing damage to nearby stuff, I have the new invulnerable ender crystals on either side, so that when the side heads try to shoot their black Wither skulls, the black Wither skulls will collide with the ender crystals and they will do their explosion here instead of doing their explosion near the endermite. You may have noticed that there is no system to damage a Wither. This is because my Wither Cage is a self-damaging Wither. The way that I did this is by having the side heads target the endermite through the actual main body of the Wither. So this far side head here is trying to shoot the endermite over there, and to do this he will have to shoot through the Wither and as well as this ender crystal, so that when the black Wither skull hits the ender crystal it will explode, causing the Wither to be damaged. When the Wither becomes damaged, this allows him to break the blocks around him in a 3x3x4 area. So this allows him to break the obsidian on the obsidian platform. This is how the obsidian farm works. Another thing to notice is that when the side head here is shooting, he is shooting just a little bit off to the side so that he's not directly hitting the main body. This allows him to damage the Wither, but he's unable to actually do enough damage so that he kills the Wither over time. In my AFK obsidian farm, the Wither is held with his foot level down inside of the obsidian platform. When the obsidian platform regenerates, it will replace blocks from Y level 48 all the way up to Y level 51. This is 4 meters tall. When the Wither also breaks blocks, he will break blocks in a 4 meter tall area. So that is why with the Wither Cage there is no blocks in a 4 meter gap, so that when the obsidian platform regenerates and when the Wither breaks his block breaking ability, nothing is affected by the Wither Cage. In 1.9 they changed the way that the obsidian platform will regenerate. So now it only regenerates when a player enters the end dimension. So the way I get the obsidian platform to regenerate for my obsidian farm is by cycling the player through the exit end portal and back into the entrance end portal. So when the player comes through the entrance end portal, he will spawn here in between these 4 blocks here. He will automatically be facing forward and be facing west. So now with the player's forward button held down, the player will automatically be walking forward until he reaches the exit end portal. The first time that you go into the exit end portal after killing the dragon, you will get the credits. Now the credits take quite a while to go through, but after you have completed the achievement of the end number 2, so once you get this achievement here, you will no longer have the credits come up on your screen. You just automatically be sent back to where you will normally spawn. The two places where you'll normally end up when you go through the exit end portal is near your world spawn point, which is where your spawn's at, or right beside your bed. Placing your bed near one of the corners of the entrance end portal, and then removing all the normal spots where the bed would place you, except for inside of the entrance end portal, and then placing a velvet block underneath of the entrance end portal, and then sleeping in the bed will allow you so that every time you come to respawn near your bed, you'll be placed inside of the entrance end portal and will immediately be placed back inside the end dimension. Now if you leave the end through the exit end portal, you will instantly be placed back inside the entrance end portal and will immediately be placed back at the Obsidian platform in the end. Now if you're in single player, it is impossible to get out of this loop where you will always be sent back to the end every time you try to leave. So we will take special measures to prevent you from getting stuck like this if you're in single player. To prevent you from getting stuck in the end, we'll just have a piston come and break your bed. So once the bed is broken, you will just spawn at your world spawn point instead of spawning near your bed. To do this, we'll just have a counter here which just counts the days, and then after so many days have passed, the power strength will reach far enough here so that will power this piston will break the bed. You can adjust this to about how much time you think you'll want to stay in the end. You can even put a hopper clock on this if this seems like a long time. Now that you understand how my simple AFK Obsidian farm works, I will explain how you can get the wither inside of the cage. The first thing you want to do to build the wither cage is to bring in the 2 invulnerable ender crystals. I have a video where I showed how you can acquire these invulnerable ender crystals in survival. There will be a link in the description to it as well. So the first thing you want to do is align the ender crystal so that it is in the right location. The first thing you want to do is push it downwards onto a bottom slab here so that it is perfectly aligned with it. So here it's pushed down and it collided with the bottom slab. Now just remove the piston and now you have it down to the right height. So now we want to move the ender crystal to the side so that it is in the center of this wither cage here. And to do that, we will have a mob skull up against a block. This will allow it to only move half a meter inwards. Now we just push the ender crystal up against the mob head, and now we remove the piston. Now we just have to move the ender crystal into place, and back here we have another skull up against the block here. And now we just power this piston. We got a little bit closer. Now it just takes one more push, so we can push the ender crystal up against the skull here. Now we can remove the piston, and now it's in the right location. Now we want to put the boat in on top of the ender crystal, since boats can collide with ender crystals. So to do that, we'll just put a bottom slab here and then click in the center of it, allow the boat to be placed there, then just remove this bottom slab here and then come in and place in your mob skull again. This will hold down the boat. So to build the lower part of the wither cage as well as the hopper collection system, which will pick up the obsidian, you just want to start out by having a full-size block such as stone here and have these cobble walls, make sure that they're attaching to this. And then inside of here we just have some hopper carts which are just set here, and then we push these blocks in on top of them. Then around them we have hoppers, and then we have a row of hoppers down here which are picking up everything that comes out of those hoppers and just placing it into your collection area. And then we have some trapdoors here which are just preventing these mine carts from getting pushed out. Now you can have your collection system go downwards, or you can just send everything back to your spawn point. Now you want to partially build your wither here. Just put the body in and then put only 2 skulls, and then come back here and just put a block back here so that when the wither is summoned in, that he doesn't try to fly in that direction. Now during the wither summoning, the wither could fly around in here, so to prevent him from moving, we were going to put up just a temporary box around him. So that's one side. Now we're going to have to push in a block to either side of him and then one in front of him, just so he doesn't fly out right away. So we got back here some skulls which are holding the ender crystals so that we can push blocks in without the ender crystals moving. And now we just push the blocks in once, and now we just have to push them in. These 2, we can just have to push them in again. So now we can remove these blocks here. So now inside of here we have kind of like a boxed area where the wither, once he spawned in here, he won't be able to fly out. Now we will put a trapdoor over top of the center so that when the wither is inside the water, he doesn't try to swim upward until he gets too high, where when he does his explosion he'll destroy the boat. So to do that, we'll have the ender crystals held by the skull, and then we'll come in and we'll push the bottom side trapdoor inward once, and then we'll push it in a second time. Now we remove this, and now you can see that the trapdoor will prevent the wither from getting up too high. Now you want to make sure that you have your endermites and make sure you have them in the right locations. I recommend looking at the world download so that you get them in the right locations, and make sure you have named them with the name tag so they don't despawn. Now before you actually summon the wither, you want to double check and make sure this boat didn't move. If every time you log or pause or unload this chunk, the boat can move. You can see this boat is inside this cobble wall now. So you just want to turn the boat around and make sure that it is stuck between these cobble walls here. And don't pause the game or anything before you summon the wither. So put that skull back in here, and now you should be ready to summon in the wither. Now we are ready to summon in the wither. We will place down the skull, then we will place down some blocks around the wither, and this will just prevent the minecarts down below from being destroyed. And then we'll come in and place in some water so that the explosion from the wither doesn't destroy everything. Then we're going to just kill ourselves with inside of the wither explosion. So put the skull in, then we'll put these blocks in around the wither, and one on this side, and then we just put the water in here, and then we'll stand in close, and when the wither kills us, we'll just hit respawn, and it will clear the obsidian platform of all the stuff we have on it. Now the wither is facing the endermite. The main head is facing endermite. This head is correctly facing the endermite down here, but this head, he is tracking something else. He might be tracking us, I think. So to prevent him from tracking us, just go back through the exit end portal and you come back here again and it'll be all fixed. I recommend running this farm with a render distance of at least 8 so that you keep the obsidian platform loaded when you're up here at the exit end portal. It doesn't affect the wither cage actually, but it just allows the chunks to stay loaded all the time, so it's a little bit quicker when you go through here. So now when you go through the exit end portal, you will arrive back at the obsidian platform and you will be standing here, and the main or the side heads will now correctly face the endermite over there. And now you can just start AFKing your obsidian farm. So to get this simple obsidian farm going, all you have to do is have your player sitting here at the obsidian platform and then facing west, and then put a weight on your forward key. Recommend rebinding your forward key to your spacebar and then placing a weight on it. The F11 trick doesn't work since when you go through the dimension, it will forget what keys you're holding down. So now you just have to have your forward key held down, and then you'll just go forward through the exit end portal and then come back through here to the entrance end portal, and this will allow the obsidian platform to regenerate, and then the wither will self-damage himself and he will destroy the obsidian, and then you can just have the obsidian collected down in your chest. So if you're playing on hard mode, when you're doing this walking with your player, eventually he will run out of hunger and he will starve to death. So it's important to have a regeneration beacon, and the beacon is just between the obsidian platform and the exit end portal, since the length of this is 100 blocks and the length of a full beacon can reach 100 blocks if you set it right in the middle. I've also placed in a speed beacon just to allow the process to be a little bit faster. So with this simple obsidian farm, the time it takes from the player to go from the obsidian platform to the exit end portal and back again, with the speed 2 beacon here, it's about 18 seconds. So over time, if you run this for 1 hour, you would get approximately 1,800 obsidian per hour. This is my simple obsidian farm for 1.9, but I will be showing a more complex version that will give out some much better rates. This wither cage is very stable and even can allow mobs to stand right beside it or even within it, and once in a while you even get a couple ender pearls out of it, since endermen will walk right into it and the wither will damage them and kill them. And like here you can see their enderman just hop right in the boat and it doesn't affect the wither at all. And you can even unload this wither cage and reload it, it doesn't matter, he will still keep his targets at all times. The only time I ever seen him lose sight of his target is when I switch from 1.9 to 1.10, and then all you have to do is just despawn the enderman around here just by walking away, and then he will realign with the correct targets again. Although the endermen do not affect the wither cage, they do kind of bump into the player when the player is walking between the obsidian platform and the exit end portal. So I recommend trying keeping the endermen off of this as much as possible, just by making the ceiling lower and putting some light in here so they can't spawn, and as well as putting some light above the obsidian platform. Now I did run this for 72 hours and I never had an enderman push me off, but it's probably a good thing just to make some walls too so that the endermen don't push you off the edge when you're walking forward. The wither should be safe here as long as you want him to be here, but if you're afraid that the dragon will come out this far and destroy him and let him loose, although the dragon probably won't come out this far, you can just come in here and attack the wither from down low and eventually kill it. Then you can always come in and resummon in a new wither. There is a world download in the description so that you can come and see exactly how I built this. There you have it, guys, a simple 1.9 plus obsidian farm, as well as a new ender crystal wither cage. So if you found this interesting, show me with a like. If you'd like to see more crazy contraptions, subscribe. And if you have any questions, be sure to comment. Bye bye!